Today, we're going to make our own grenadine from scratch using real pomegranates. Kind of. We won't be using any store-bought pomegranate juice, and instead of buying whole pomegranates and processing them whole, I'm going to use these, which are ready-to-eat pomegranate seed pods or arils. They sell these at most grocery stores, and Costco sells a 4-pack for under $10. And stick around for the end of this video where we will take our homemade grenadine and we will make the absolute best grenadine drink of all time. I grew up on Rose's grenadine, and like most people, as a kid and a young adult, I always thought grenadine was cherry because of its bright red color. I still do like Rose's grenadine, but for cocktails, we're always talking about the real stuff. But the real stuff that you find in most recipe books is just taking something like a store-bought pomegranate juice and then adding sugar to make your own grenadine. But once you make your own grenadine from pomegranate seeds or whole pomegranates, you'll realize you've never really tasted real grenadine. This is the best grenadine I have ever had by a mile. It's so good that I made this about a week ago, and now I'm making even more of it now because I do think it is that good and it will change cocktails that call for grenadine that much. Now I'm adapting the tropical standard recipe and not really changing the recipe, just using the ready-to-go pomegranate seeds instead of whole pomegranates. But if you have access to whole pomegranates and want to follow the directions in the tropical standard book, you're just going to take a whole pomegranate, cut it in half, and juice it like you would with a lemon or a lime. Now I found that for my version, the only way I could really imagine doing this was with this style of citrus juicer. These look big and clunky, but they are by far the best juicers in my opinion. And it's this exact style, the cast aluminum ones, that you want. You can really put a lot of force and weight into these and extract a lot, including the oils from citrus. There are plastic ones and stainless ones, and I've tried all of them, and you don't want those. Those will break. You want to get this one right here. This one happens to be from Barfly, but there are other cast aluminum ones, and I will leave a link to this exact one in the episode's description. This style juicer also has this right here, kind of keeps the pulp and the large fruit from going into the basket. And the holes look like they're too big, but they're not. They're the perfect size. None of the pomegranates will actually come through here. So to make pomegranate juice, we're just going to add some pomegranates into our juicer, a handful at a time. A couple tips for this, if you're using this style juicer, is that first, you don't want to be wearing any white clothing. And second, I find it's helpful if you put a towel over the top so anything that sprays out doesn't get all over the place. Now, I've made this one time before, and what I like to do is add in more pomegranates without taking the ones I've just pressed. And then we're just kind of adding some bulk there. And I think we're able to extract just a little bit more. Now, if you're able to see inside, like a nice wall of your pomegranate seeds there, I'm just going to scrape these down and then squeeze it one more time. Now, another tip here, if you have too many pomegranate seeds in there and you're pressing it down, the juice, as it moves up that wall, it can come out of the top here as well. The juice on its own is not very sweet. It is very tart and acidic. And we're going to kind of follow along here with the tropical standard book. And it calls for 250 grams of juice, 162 grams of sugar, 1 gram of citric acid, and 2 orange peels. So I don't have 250 milliliters of juice. And instead of trying to get to 250 milliliters, I'm just going to divide them and find out how much juice I have compared to how much they're asking for, and then do the math for the rest of the recipe. So I have 150 milliliters of juice. So I have about 60% of what I need. So I could just multiply the rest of the recipe by 0.6, and I will have what I need for sugar and acid. So the recipe calls for 162 grams of sugar. I'm going to multiply that by 0.6, and I need 97 grams of sugar. Now I need 0.6 grams of citric acid. Two orange peels and just express them into the grenadine. And there you go. You got your own homemade real pomegranate juice grenadine. And it is by far the best grenadine that you will ever have. So I happen to have a few other grenadines. Let's just do a quick little taste test. So roses. I don't even know what that flavor is. I do love the flavor though, but it's a snow cone flavor. It's not pomegranate, it's not juice. I don't even any idea what this is. High fructose corn syrup, citric acid, and natural and artificial flavors. It's got its place in things, just not in your cocktails. This is one I made a few weeks ago. It's just a Smuggler's Cove recipe. It's just pomegranate juice and sugar, like a store-bought pomegranate juice. You need more pomegranate flavor, but it still has this kind of like cooked molassesy taste to it, which isn't necessarily bad. This isn't bad at all for cocktails. I think it tastes pretty good. And the last one is one that I buy if I need to buy it, which is Jack Rudy Grenadine. Jack Rudy makes an amazing tonic syrup as well. Tastes a little more acidic than this one, which is the Smuggler's Cove recipe. I like this one better. It's not bad. And now for our fresh homemade version. Just tastes like real pomegranates. If you've ever eaten like a fresh pomegranate, that's what it tastes like. These don't really convey that same taste. So this is the one you want. If you have the energy and the effort and the time, make your own grenadine using your own either fresh pomegranates or fresh pomegranate seeds. And now we will make the greatest grenadine drink of all time. Start by taking a Collins glass and filling it to the top with nugget ice. Add in 3/4 of an ounce of our fresh homemade grenadine and top with 7-Up. Add a straw and a lime wheel, and you have yourself the greatest Shirley Temple of all time. Let's taste it. It's great. It tastes like a totally different Shirley Temple than you're used to if you've had one recently. I still have a really, soft place in my heart for roses, Shirley Temples, but it's good. I mean, dirty Shirleys are a thing. I'm not into those, but this would definitely elevate that if you use your own homemade grenadine. This should last in the fridge a week or two, maybe longer. And I really do think if you make this grenadine, it'll be the best grenadine you've probably ever had if you've never made it from fresh pomegranates. And there you go, full circle, the first mixed drink that I ever ordered in my life, the Shirley Temple with homemade grenadine. It's great. Make this, especially summertime's here, and you have those tiki and tropical recipes that call for grenadine. This will totally change all of those drinks. So try it. It's definitely worth the effort. That's it for this one. I'm Derek. This is Make and Drink. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like below. Subscribe to the channel if you want to, and otherwise, see you on the next one.